All right, so let's go into Final Destination 3, which came out in 2006, rated R, a runtime of 1 hour and 33 minutes. This is directed by James Wong, with writing credits to Glen Morgan, James Wong, and Jeffrey Reddick, again, coming up to, I guess, pad out these stories. It feels like this one had a bigger budget. It looked nicer, and you get into this whole elaborate, I guess, carnival thing at the beginning and how that plays out. It's also, I think another fun thing about these movies is, to both of your points, just how everything is going to puzzle piece together to ultimately become this spectacle of body parts and limbs and blood sprays at the end, right? So in this one, we have Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Wendy, who is at the carnival with her boyfriend Ian, played by Chris Lemche, and her friend Erin, Alex Johnson, and I guess her boyfriend Kevin, Ryan Merriman. So they're at this carnival, and she's starting to get kind of the other tie-in with all this franchise is the premonition / visions that the main character starts getting. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, her boyfriend was Jason, which was Jesse Moss. I don't know why I said Ian. Ian was the Christian Slater wannabe, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So again, there's like this sense of dread and panic that the main character goes through. Somehow they maneuver it so that they're not in the space that they're supposed to be in, and they ultimately wind up surviving. So then there's this race against time to figure out what is going on and how it can be prevented. I'm going to start with you. What did you think of the film?
I did not enjoy this one as much as the second one. It has crazy deaths and whatnot, but they just didn't hit the way that they did in the second one.
I think the kids were like, well, was Olive watching it with us when the two girls are in the sun tanning parlor?
Yeah. I think that was
freaked out about
that.
that.
I think that was one of the issues with that. The kids just weren't. There wasn't a moment where they were horrible enough for me to just be like, okay, I'm fine with them getting killed. Especially, the two girls in the tanning parlor was probably especially bad, just because they weren't mean. They weren't like the mean rich bitch girls that you typically see in something like this. And they die in a prolonged way, in a prolonged suffering way. I think I enjoy it more when it's just like, if you're going to put someone through that sort of prolonged torture when they die, I want them to be bad. Like in a later film, that happens, and
the
you're just
guy, right?
Yeah, you're totally fine with it. And in fact, you find that hilarious.
Yes.
And then they give you that extra little oomph payoff at the end when his head lands on the ground. But with the girls, it was just sort of like, okay, I would have been happy if like they exploded or something. Probably the best death in my mind was the black dude just losing his mind on that weight machine. That was good because that was like nice. It was sudden and it followed that formula with the misdirection and all of that.
Doesn't he say something like, "I'm never gonna die"?
Exactly.
Right before his head is crushed?
Yeah.
That, to me, that was like, okay, you found the magic that you had in that second movie for that one.
Right. Well, it's funny too, because I think the kids were in the room when we were watching that, and they also chuckled, right?
Yeah, they laughed. They thought that was well deserved. Yes. That was a well deserved death, and it was nice and sudden, and it was just good. You had the misdirection, and it worked.
Yeah. Zach, what did you think of the third installment?
Well, so on my original watch, I believe I saw this one in theaters. I liked it. I thought it was weaker than the first two, but originally I thought it was better than 4. But on the rewatch, I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
I think it is to Ray's point, like sort of the one where they started treating it more like a playground. Mm-hmm. Then they just wanted to sort of see like, what's the most like gruesome, ridiculous way we can kill these people?
Yeah.
Whereas like obviously, that was part of the design in the first 2 movies, but they wanted it to sort of have a internal logic. And in this one, it was more just like, well, what's fun?
I feel like I've seen pieces of this on and off through the years. I never paid to see this in the theater. This came out in February of 2006 and did some impressive numbers. The budget on this baby was $25 million. The opening in February, again, a winter month, is about $20 million, so just shy of its entire budget. And February is kind of a hard month because it's winter. Nobody wants to be out on these streets. But if you're going to have some kind of quality entertainment, I guess the masses are going to be there. This did about $54 million in the U.S. and Canada, and the gross worldwide, making this probably up until this point the most profitable of the Final Destination movies, is $118 million from a $25 million budget.
Nice.
That is not bad at all. I also felt like this one, it was very stylized. It looked like there was budget here. It looked like the costuming, there was money for costuming and stylists and maybe a little bit more effects and stuff. So everything looked a little bit more polished than the first two. However, the story, I felt, was a little bit lacking. It was more style than substance. And I think that that's what the first two had more in common, and the interconnectedness. And again, this one, to both of your points, could play off as just a one-and-done story with a little bit of background, which you get within all of these films, because they obviously, you have to have exposition guy or girl, whatever, kind of bringing everyone up to date about what's going on and what's to be expected. So I feel like of the four that we saw, I like the first two. This one was just okay, though, to me. And I don't know what could have made it better. I don't think it matters because it's not that kind of film. But, if I'm a teenager with disposable income, I'm probably going to be at the cinema watching this. So the filmmakers have a formula that's successful. And again, up till this point, this is the one that's made the most money. So good for them.
I feel like this was like an absolute rehash because unlike the other ones, it doesn't really add anything new to the whole thing.
No.
It was just sort of, this could have been the first one, to be honest. It was roughly the same thing. There was nothing new. They were pretty much finding out stuff.
Well, I would say that one establishes, two tries to refine, which I think it does, and then three tries to subvert. And I don't think that three subverts as much as it. I think and I think it's the big problem is the digital camera, the photos, the fact that she has a frame of reference to go back to figure out not only what the order is, but what's going to happen to them. Mm-hmm. Because in the first one and the second one, they had to just remember. And honestly, that is, and when we get to number 4, there's one of my favorite points of 4 is in regards to this sort of conceit. But I think the fact that she has the camera and can sort of reference it, it just sort of undermines the central premise that she had this premonition.
Right. Does she ever have a premonition? I mean, she does in the beginning.
She doesn't when she gets in the roller coaster. She sees everybody die.
Yeah.
Right. But then does she... kind of, I didn't even realize that. Zack makes a great point. I for the rest of the film, she's relying on the photos. Does she have any additional premonitions throughout the film?
No, I don't think so. Yeah. I think it's just sort of she's looking at the pictures, and as she's in the moment, she's realizing what the symbolism in the pictures means. When
clues are within the pictures themselves.
Yeah, when they're talking with Christian Slater boy.
Ian.
She doesn't realize until the last minute that the pennant isn't that it's a pennant. It's that the pennant is shaped like stakes, and that she sees the stakes over his head. So she shoves him out of the way before they come tumbling down upon him.
Right. And then the other. I don't know if there's a thing as a favorite death, but I thought, to me at least, the interesting death was when they were at the fast food takeout thing where the guy in front of them gets murdered, and then you find out that was the guy that was also not on the roller coaster. So, that's interesting because it's sort of bookends, right? She has her premonitions at the start of the story and then at the end of the story, right? She doesn't really
she has the next time she has an actual premonition is when she's on the train
with everyone, right? What did you... Okay, I'm going to start with Zack. What did you think of the ending of this film, Zack? I think we can spoil it.
I thought that it was I wish that they had saved that disaster for the beginning of a different movie, because I think that like a subway slash train disaster has a lot of like meat on its bones to where they could have really like built an entire movie around it. So like I kind of thought that it was, I liked it, but I thought that it was as like on like a grand scheme, like a bigger view. Like I thought it was a wasted opportunity, but I did like that it very neatly wrapped up this particular movie, being like, nope, no survivors from this one.
Yeah, I think that was my takeaway too. I agree with you. I hadn't thought about that, how the train sequence would have been a better kind of springboard for the start of the story, but it was impressive, and I also thought it was interesting that there were no survivors here. So it kind of bucks the stories, because in the first one you have survivors, and in the second one you have survivors, and now this time you don't have survivors. And it happens fairly quickly.
I also found it strange that, because it always seemed, at least from the previous films, is when the person has the premonition, they're given enough time to do something about it. She has the premonition. She's just doomed. There's nothing she could do at that point.
Well, maybe death designed it that way. He had enough of her.
To be fair, yeah, she's already had her premonition. She can't have seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy in the second one has a second premonition. I'm not the second one, the fourth one.
All right, we're not there yet. We're not yet. Well, we got to go through these in order. But I also feel like, kind of to Zach's point, she sort of, I don't want to say cheated, but sort of in a way with the photographs, because she has this point of reference that she can use to kind of figure out a loophole and kind of change the trajectory of the story. She's not very successful at it, but she does have the tools to do it. And yet at the end, she finds herself with two other people that are also part of this, I guess, cycle that ultimately get dispatched by the end. Of the first three, I felt like this was the weaker. It looked nicer, I think. It's amazing, because I think the previous one was like $1 million more in budget, but it looked less sleek and polished. This one had a nicer look to it. We're now in 2006, I guess. I don't know, maybe film stock is just different, but I felt like, kind of to your point, this could have been like the first story. It didn't really add anything. It didn't make any kind of conventions or new things added to the story. It was just sort of a one and done, and I guess you could view it as that as well. If I was going to give this, go ahead, Zach.
Just as a quick like interjection, like it's almost ignored in the later movies.
Like, I can see that.
It doesn't add anything to the larger canon.
Yeah.
Even in the way that, like, say, 5 does.
Yeah, I could see that. I think none of the characters were really memorable. I never felt invested in anybody. Like, I felt more so in the first two, not so much in this one. I don't know why.
No, I could see that. Yeah. There was just something.
And I mean, I go through the story with Wendy and Kevin, but I don't know. I just don't care, maybe? I don't know. Just don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I was going to give this a number from 1 to 10, I'd probably give this a 6. I think it's, so far, this is like my least favorite Final Destination movie. The effects at the end are impressive. That whole end sequence is pretty nicely done, but I agree with Zach. It's kind of wasted there. Zach, what would you give this 1 to 10?
I would have given it a higher rating before my rewatch, but I gotta say, I probably gotta go with like 5 or a 6 at best. Like
What changed for you in this rewatch? I'm curious.
To me, it's where it sort of, they take their finger off the pulse of like what makes the franchise work. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that returns until 5, honestly.
Interesting. Okay. What do you say? 1 to 10?
I'd probably also give it a 5. This felt very average.
All right.
It doesn't have the newness of the first one. Like I said, the first one didn't really wow me, but at least it was
more interesting.
It was a new novel idea. You were being introduced to new concepts.
And I felt like Alex was a more engaging character. Like he was like so weird to me.
Yeah, Alex was a bit more engaging. I think it was funny. There's like it shows how old the film is. he's just in his room looking at all this stuff, the disaster things, and then it was just like, okay, I just happened to glance at a picture of Clear in a newspaper, so you know what? I'm gonna masturbate. and it's like this is 2000 because how does he do it? Analog porn. He just pulls out an old school porno magazine. And then he throws...
Hey, you can't wait for your 56K to load that up. That takes too long.
Exactly. Back then he would have been waiting a half hour for that picture to show up.
You could just flip a page and you're there. It's loaded.
So yeah, the first one was better. He was a more interesting character than Wen was. Wen, I guess they tried to give her a little bit more character.
She felt like this simpering kind of. I mean, at least in the previous one, Kim was a little bit more like. I mean, she was still kind of shell shocked that she was involved in this whole thing, but she seemed a little bit more assertive. Maybe, I don't know.
She had a more of a not F that attitude.
Yes.
Where she was like, no, I will be heard. Like, you're gonna hear what I have to say, regardless of how crazy it sounds. You're gonna hear it.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I wasn't terribly impressed with Wendy.
Yeah, I didn't really care for any of the characters, to be honest, or was interested like Frankie Cheeks.
Yes.
He just
he was my favorite death though.
Yeah, he had a nice death. The
Louis.
Christian Slater character annoyed the hell out of me just because it was like, come on, man, why are you? What did you? Was Heathers like your Bible movie or something?
I do have to give the actor credit though, because I feel like that was very much like a direction thing, and I think the actor crushed the direction they were given.
Yes, I agree. with that,
okay,
100%.
If you're gonna find the silver lining there, there.
Well,
he took it and did. I mean, he made you care about the character, which is more than you can say for the actual main protagonist of this film, who's just sort of just there like wallpaper.
Yeah, and she just sort of sadly looking as all this stuff is going on. It was
she said very passive. I mean, in a horror film, you want to be more in the driver's seat of the story, because if not, you're gonna die. So
yeah.
I mean, I'm a Mary Elizabeth Winstead fan, don't get me wrong, but they didn't give her a lot to work with here.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
That's a fair assessment.
Yeah. I mean, I think that this is just, I mean, should we say it? I felt like this is more of a cash grab film. Like the other ones, it didn't done well.
I mean, think about it. It's the third film. Traditionally, everything is trilogies, and I think maybe the studio was like, okay, the first one did great, the second one did really good, but not as good. This one will probably do worse. Let's just run it out.
Yeah.
So they probably had the least amount of care to it.
Yeah.
That is actually the attitude to 4.
Oh, interesting.
It feels that way too, but I gotta be honest, I think I liked 4 better than 3.
I was gonna say I liked 4 better than 3 too. Should we just jump into that one now? So
I am happy to jump into it, but I have to disagree. and I questioned this on my rewatch. I really did. I really questioned it because I liked 3 a lot before my rewatch, and then it really fell in my estimation. It would have gone from it went from a 7 to a 5 basically. And then 4 was always really low for me, and on the rewatch it only fell further.
Really?
Oh wow.
You know what? I liked the campiness. I mean, the only thing that annoyed me about it. So let's get into it. The Final Destination, which is the 4th film of the franchise, came out in 2009. It was rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 22 minutes. Again, in that sweet spot of time. This is not a long film. It's categorized as splatter horror, supernatural horror, and thriller. This was directed by David R. Ellis with writing credits to Eric Bress and Jeffrey Reddick. This guy is raking in this money. Good for him, honestly. This is, according to IMDb, a horrifying premonition saves a young man and his friends from death during a racetrack accident, but terrible fates await them nonetheless. So in this one, my only complaint was that obviously this was filmed in 3D, because the egregiousness of the things coming into the frame, into your view, is just, it's a little excessive to me. I don't know.
It is 100% a product of its time. It was definitely filmed when the 3D craze was at its peak in the mid 2000s. I would say late 2000s, really.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, yeah, you're not wrong there. Like, to me, what I want to discuss about this movie is I think of the first four, it is the least compelling disaster.
Really?
Oh, the racetrack?
You think so?
Yeah.
I felt like it was the most over the top.
Yeah, but it's like everybody flies, right? Everybody has to drive on a highway. A lot of people go to amusement parks for entertainment. You know, you get on a roller coaster, you expect everything to be safe. How often have you gone to a racetrack? When was the last time you were at a racetrack?
That's true. That's
Never.
true. Yeah. Well, I think that, so the other thing to note about this film, again, this came out in August of 2009, so this is a summer blockbuster. Let's be honest. This was filmed in Orlando, Florida. Definitely got that vibe.
The rest were filmed in Canada.
That's so fantastic. I love that. So let me tell you why the studios at least love Final Destination number 4. The budget on this estimated is about $40 million, which
it's like double the other ones, right?
Yeah, it's double now, right? The opening weekend in August of 2009 was $27 million. Decent opening.
Mm-hmm.
The gross in U.S. and Canada, $66 million. The worldwide on this puppy, $186 million.
Yeah.
No one's giving this up.
Well, that it had the extra 3D money too.
Right.
Remember 3D tickets were like twice the regular cost of a normal
they were super
ticket.
expensive.
Well,
but, okay, go ahead, Zach.
I was just going to say, it also sort of had the benefit of it opened at number 1, which none of the other Final Destination movies had done.
Oh.
But it had like the whole built-in, like sort of, you know, the franchise of it all. And then, like you said, the 3D, like it just sort of contributed to the worldwide gross just because it was like at this point, and it was supposed to be the last one.
Right.
Like that was sort of the marketing going into it. It was like, it's the last one. It's in 3D. It's got all this stuff going for it.
And yet it's not the last one.
No, it's not the Final Destination.
Thank God.
Yes.
What year did you say this came out? Was
2009.
2009. Yeah, so that was the height of the 3D craze because that's when Avatar came out.
I mean, didn't make anywhere near Avatar money, but
wasn't
still.
making Avatar money, but still.
Still, I mean, for a $40 million investment, this is like 4 times your money. Yeah, so that's not bad. That is not bad. And you have like a bunch of no-name actors. Like, who the hell is Bobby Campo and Chantel Van Santine, who were Nick and Lori?
All the star power is gone. Like, at least with like, you had Devon Sawa, you had Ali Larter, you had Sean William Scott. You know, then you had Ali Larter again.
Yeah.
No one else really famous in 2. But then in 3, you had Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who was like, on the cusp of being a name, you know, like people knew who she was. And then 4, like nobody. 5 is David Koechner. I don't know how to say his last name.
Yeah, that Koechner, who was great in Piranha 3D.
Yeah.
3 double D or something.
Of course.
Yes, it is 3 double D, yes.
And you know what? That's
I love
one of
his
those.
death.
Yeah, that's one of those films that if it's on TV, we're sitting our asses down to watch it. That's how entertaining that shit is. Yeah, we love that.
So ridiculous.
Yeah, but so for
But
this
like,
one, oh, go ahead.
4 has no one. That's all I was gonna say. 4 has no one.
Yeah, this is like a WB production. There's a bunch of pretty young people.
Yeah, I know I've seen some of their faces, and now that you said WB, I'm like, oh, I probably saw them all on like Supernatural or something,
or one of those shows.
One Tree Hill.
Yes, exactly. So let's get into it. What did this is our first time watching this. I feel like I've never seen these from start to finish. I always see like bulks of them. I had seen the racist guy's death, and
that was new to me, so I enjoyed that one.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like Sci-Fi or one of these USA, there's always like Final Destination weekend where they put 1 through 5 on.
I know I've seen the final bit with the movie theater blowing up.
Yes.
But I've never seen any of the rest of it.
What did you think of it?
I did enjoy it more than the third one, just because, like I said, the third one was just sort of more of the same. I feel like you were a little bit better with the kills, like the racist guy dying his death was hilarious.
Yeah,
it was just absolutely hilarious. He deserved to die. I mean, it was so, the character is just, it's just so like in your face, like, yeah, we need to raise this guy. It's not just like he's looking at the black guy suspiciously or something. No, he literally has a giant swastika on his shoulder, and the SS symbol on his forearm.
And he drops the N-word.
And a hard R.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
yeah. He was loving that R.
Yeah, yeah. So we weren't sad to see.
No, we weren't sad to see him go.
Yeah.
And I would probably say one thing that bothered me with this one is you could really see the CG.
Yes.
Like especially during that the car accident or the racing accident, when people were just being crushed by debris.
Or like the lady with the engine.
There was that, but that was bad. But the people getting crushed by the debris, it looked like something
every bit of CG in this movie was bad. Like
it was bad. But the people getting crushed, for me, that was like something that you could have done yourself with Photoshop
or After Effects.
Yeah. It was just like, all right, I'm standing here, and now I'm just going to cover the person with a piece of concrete. And it wasn't even like you see their bodies fold or anything. It was just like concrete slides down over them. It was like almost like Monty Python level animation.
I thought the most egregious was just like the fact that for the how do I articulate this? Like the premonitions were just so like they looked like they were just like
they were terrible.
Like,
yeah.
They looked like AI slop. Like, and I know they weren't, but like that's what they looked like to me. And like going back to my earlier point about 3, where like she had the camera, like the fact that he kept having these CG VR, and obviously like I think this one was released in 3D as well. So like the premonitions were meant to be like 3D experienced, I believe.
Yeah, like the thing with the snake was really bad.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
I just was kind of like. Hand to the forehead, like shaking my head, sort of.
This is terrible. Well, I mean, this film does not take itself seriously. Let's be honest. I think they wanted to go out with a bang. They wanted to do like the most over the top nonsense, which I think they are successful at. And I think it was more entertaining. I think like this one, it's not anywhere near as good as the second one, but I think that it tries to mimic the second one, I think, a lot. And I think that as just low stakes entertainment, I think it does it well. I was thoroughly entertained. I laughed. I was also shaking my head and rolling my eyes in certain sequences. I wasn't trying to pick it apart. I was just trying to sit and just enjoy the experience. I think, again, my only complaint was the excessiveness of the 3D, and it's just so predominant and just so in your face constantly that it was like, oh my God. So I wondered, I mean, did we ever went to see any of these 3D movies? Did we? Or did we see one of those Mission Impossible in like no, we saw that in IMAX, I think, right? I don't remember.
I don't remember ever seeing anything in 3D. I think I saw like Beauty and the Beast when they released it in 3D with the kids. I don't recall ever seeing any. Yeah, because you got to wear those crazy glasses.
Right? Which is also a hindrance, right? So
I remember the big complaint was it was like watching a film with sunglasses on.
Yeah.
So everything was super dark.
I actually went to go see Avatar when it was in theaters, but I forgot to wear my contacts, so I had my glasses on. So I had to wear the 3D glasses over my glasses.
How was that?
It was not ideal.
But did you, just curious, I never saw it in the theater. I saw it on television because I was like, I'm not paying for this. I still don't understand why that movie made so much money, but please don't explain it to me. But how was that, like the 3D experience in the theater?
Okay, I mean, as far as like 3D experience went, it was good. It was fine. I had my complaints about the movie on like a narrative level.
Okay.
But like as far as the technical level went, it was pleasant. It was a nice experience. I don't know that I would necessarily say that like you have to go see it in this
format.
You can't just watch it at home. Yeah, like
did it add to the story for you? I'm just curious.
No, not at all.
Because it's so funny. I mean, not to sidetrack, but like, there's this really great video of Ryan Coogler talking about. He's just like nerding out on the different formats that you could watch Sinners on, and I was just like, oh my god. I mean, I want this film to do well because I'm just gratified that he loves cinema, that he's making these really interesting stories, and that he's geeking out about the format of the film. Like, I find that super endearing. But I was just always curious because like I felt like for a while there they were really pushing 3D. And I don't think I ever, like, even when we were kids, remember like going to the theater with the blue and the
red and the blue lens, yeah.
Oh my god, they were so stupid. And it was like, what am I doing with my life? Like, what is this? This is not enhancing my movie watching experience at all. Like, I don't get 3D.
I think the only thing I saw when I was a kid in 3D was Treasure of the Four Crowns, which was the most ridiculous movie ever.
You know what's so funny? Because like we literally went to the movies every weekend. Like, I remember we'd seen a lot of 3D movies, but I was just like, this is a shite. And we like had we had a plastic bin of just 3D glasses in my house. And it's like, what is the point? These don't even work in the movie theater. Like, why are we collecting these?
You have to remember, though, that in, like, the mid-2000s, they were trying to make 3D TV happen. So,
That's true. I forgot about that.
So, like, they were trying to make movies that would then tie in to the TVs they could sell you, especially, like, companies like Sony.
Right.
That have a TV branch and a film branch. Like, they were very much trying to be like, well, can we sell them 3D TVs? Like, the answer was no, apparently.
Yes. All right, well, getting back to this one. So I have to be honest, I enjoyed this. To your point, I enjoyed this more than the third one, but it was still just a shite movie. I mean, it's obviously a cash grab. Did really well for the studios, and it was definitely summer popcorn entertainment. You don't need to go into this film with any sort of expectations. I think the less, the better. I think this is just, I mean, again, 16, 17, 18-year-old me would have been the first one in the seats because this is totally in my wheelhouse. This is an excuse to get together with friends, to just Mystery Science 3000 the shit out of a film. And to walk away with it.
Especially in theater.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
If you can be the only person in this theater with you and 3 of your friends, that is the ideal way to watch this movie.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. And I think we're seeing a resurgence in productions and stuff, which is gratifying. And at the same time, I feel like theaters are struggling because you have a plethora of entertainment that you can just access in your living room now. So it becomes harder to convince people to spend the money on these theater tickets to see things in a theater format style. You and I just recently saw Bring Her Back in the theater. I mean...
Yeah, that and being there was part of the fun because
yes.
everybody was just losing their minds.
Yes, into it. And I think that added to the story watch experience. So it's nice to be able to commune with fellow film nerds or storyteller enthusiasts and experience it that way. But something like this, I think if it gets re-released in the theaters and if you're a young person with disposable income, absolutely get on it. I would say as a 50-plus-year-old woman, I think I'll pass. But if I was young and frivolous and, again, had disposable income and just wanted to do something fun with my friends, I guarantee you're going to have a great time with this, not because of the watch experience, but because of the memories that you're making with your friends in that moment. This is not going to change your life in any way, shape, or form, but it is a fun watch. And I think in the genre of just splatter horror, this is definitely up there. I felt like the beginning sequence was really over the top and well done. However, to Zach's point, you do see a lot of the egregiousness of the CG. So I liked it more than 3. It's still not as good as 1 and 2. So if I was going to give this a number, I'd probably give this a 6, maybe 6.5. Yeah. What were your impressions of the film?
Roughly the same as the third one. It's just sort of like more of the same. I did like the kills a bit better. The overuse of CG, and not even like good CG, is
a detriment.
I kind of forgot how terrible the premonition CG is until Zack mentioned it again. But yeah, there was, especially that one with the snake, because that was like really out of place.
Yeah.
It just sort of looked really weird that he's just like conjuring this weird symbolism in his mind where the snake's hissing and then it turns into the symbol on an ambulance, and it was just like, all right. I wasn't really satisfied. There was one kill that didn't really satisfy me, the lady in the beauty parlor, because there was a lot of build up to that one.
Yeah.
A ton of build up to that one where everything in this beauty parlor is like
a death weapon.
Is like just geared to going wrong. And then at the end of it all, it's just like, yeah, she just gets it that way.
Yeah.
I did kind of like that just because the dude on the riding lawnmower is just like, this cigarette is good.
Yeah, he's so nonchalant about it. Meanwhile, there's like all this screaming in the background. Yeah.
Yeah. I love how he's just loading the lawnmower up with gasoline, and he's just like, yeah, I love the smoke.
This cigarette is real good right now.
What were your thoughts about the Hunt character?
He was just the douchebag. Well, that was like another thing. Nobody's really built up that much. The two friends were practically non-existent. They were just there to really die. Yeah, the racist dying was probably my favorite part. The security guard, he was just... I guess he was just there to show that, okay, it's not his turn to die yet. We missed something along the way.
Yeah. It's that false sense of security.
Yeah, and then you find out what it is, and it's like, oh yeah, one of those guys survived.
I love the racist, but I also like the mechanic's death.
I didn't really...
Somebody isolate that audio of just Joanne saying, I love the racists.
I walked right into that one, actually. Yes.
I knew it all along. Yeah, the mechanic's death, I don't know. That one didn't really do much for me. I think his death was like made for 3D because it was sort of like, ooh, look, the meat's coming at you.
Yeah. And then what did you think of George's death? I thought that was kind of a cop-out.
George. Who was George?
George was the security guard.
Oh, yeah. That was just it was just sort of like, all right, we got to show everybody that, yeah, the people that we thought weren't in danger are in danger once more.
Once more. Yeah.
And even, it was funny, even after the kid it's like, oh, wait, we're still in danger. He has absolutely no chance to save George. It's just, you're dead anyway.
Yeah. And it harkens back to the first one where that character gets killed, and right? So it's very similar. If you were going to give this a number from 1 to 10, what would it be?
I was going to say 6, but I gave the first one a 6, and this one is not as good as the first one. I would also give this I think I gave the third one a 5, so I would give this one maybe like
5.5,
5.1. Just because I think I enjoyed this one a bit more than the third one.
I enjoyed this way more than the third one. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I kind of thought.
But that's just me.
I thought both of these were pretty weak. I don't feel like they added anything as far as like the story goes. Like the first and second ones, they were really connected, and they added. The second one added to the first.
Right. Sure.
The third and the fourth just felt like cash grabs.
But I also felt like the main protagonist in this film was a little bit more likable than the Wendy character. Nick comes across as
I don't know. I didn't really feel that either. I just felt like Nick was he was just, I'm here to give exposition and be like the sort of catalyst for all of this happening.
All right, fair enough.
He didn't really have much of a personality or anything unique about his character that made him endearing to me or charming. Nobody in the main group was charming in any way.
No. What did you think of the ladies, Lori and Janet? Lori was the girlfriend, and Janet was...
Janet was... utterly useless. Especially at the end in the theater where it's just like, I'm going to watch this movie. I don't care. It's like, why wouldn't you care? You've experienced what's going on, and now suddenly you're just like, whatever.
Yeah, I don't believe any of this bullshit. Even though I did before.
Yeah, you almost got your head scrubbed off by a car wash, and suddenly it's just like, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just going to sit and watch this because this movie just looks so fascinating.
Yes. Love Lies Dying.
Love Lies. Yeah.
What about
you know what that movie really was?
What was it?
It was The Long Kiss Goodbye or Good Night. I forget what the actual
Davis one?
Yeah, that is the actual movie they used for the footage with the movie within the movie.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Interesting bit of trivia there.
Zach knows everything. What would you
IMDb trivia knows everything.
What were your impressions of the film the first time around and now, Zach?
The first time around thought this was the weakest of the bunch. And then after I watched 3 again, I was like, well, maybe not. And then I watched it again and I was like, no, it is the weakest of the bunch.
Oh, okay.
So I disagree with both you and Ray. I think 3 is better than 4. I think 3 is the weakest overall out of the whole franchise, even though we're only discussing up to 4 today. But the fact that there's like repeated premonitions, that they're like terrible CGI, there's a lot that I think is wrong with this movie. And I feel like it's tone deaf to the rest of the franchise, including 5 and 6. I think they correct sort of where it was going after 3 and 4.
Ah, interesting. I like this this viewpoint. Did you have a favorite character in this story at all?
I honestly cannot remember any of these character names in this one. No. No.
That's
just
fair.
No.
That's fair. That's fair. If you're going to give it a number from 1 to 10, what would it be?
4.
4. Wow.
Oh, in the negatives.
Wow. All right. Fair enough.
Well, I gotta give it its namesake, Final Destination 4. But it does have my favorite thing in a horror movie franchise, wherein they lose confidence in the naming convention. And they're like, well, we can't call it Final Destination 4. No one will see it if they know it's the 4th one.
Yeah.
Well, let's call it The Final Destination.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So I think at the end of the day, these are just fun, fluffy, sort of on the cusp of the horror genre. And if you want to see them, they are currently all streaming on HBO Max. We will come back and discuss the 5th and 6th installment. But for now, 1 through 4, again, playing on is it HBO Max or is it just Max still?
I think they've gone back to HBO Max.
Yes, please check it out on HBO Max. It's fun. It's not going to change your life. It's not going to make you smarter for sure. But it's just good background noise if you need something while you're folding laundry.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're having, I guess, like a Halloween party, right? I think this works.
This would be good in the background of a Halloween party. Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. Just all the mayhem on the screen. All right. So go ahead, Zach.
I was just going to say, this is great for like a Halloween bar, TV on silent, like
background.
Like this franchise would be ideal for like a Williamsburg hipster bar, Halloween, playlist.
And not to get off on a tangent, but Zach, I'm going to start with you. Do you have a favorite horror franchise?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Do you want to think about it and we can discuss it on
No. I think I will go, and this is going to be kind of a controversial pick, Alien.
No, I love it.
It bridges the gap between horror and sci-fi. I think it is like the perfect killing machine. I mean, Alien vs. Predator, I also I know the movies suck, but it's a great concept.
Yes.
But I think there's a lot to work with within that franchise. And so I would say that is my favorite horror, especially the first Alien. Obviously Aliens is an action movie and then it goes from there. But
yeah. Oh, no, you know what? I didn't expect that, but I applaud that choice, Zach. What about you? What do you say?
A favorite franchise?
Horror franchise.
Horror franchise? I don't know if I have a favorite horror franchise. I like standalone horror films, but generally when they start venturing into the franchise territory, it's like you got a mixed bag there.
That's fair. For a while there, I really enjoyed those like Nightmare on Elm Street movies, which got progressively crazier.
They just got cheesy, and
he was like the king. He was like horror Arnold Schwarzenegger because he was like the king of the one-liners in those. The rivalry.
He was the king of the one-liners, but like the second one was absolutely awful.
Shite. Yeah.
That's the problem. When you're in the franchise territory, you also have to deal with the terrible ones. I mean, I too love Alien, but there are some terrible Alien movies.
Fair. But I think, you get that, I think, in horror because I think people lose focus and it becomes a cash grab at that point, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like this movie did so well. I mean, one of my favorite films is The Exorcist, and there have been multiple stories within that universe. However, nothing beats that first one, right? Nothing's going to beat that first one.
Yeah.
So you have that. I mean, and I feel like just for popcorn entertainment, like those Scream movies were kind of fun for me, at least. The 90s were an interesting time. We were all footloose and fancy free. And I think it incorporated a lot of older horror stuff. So I very much liked those. I liked the Halloween ones. To your point, they're not all wins. There's a couple of misses in there, but I think they signal a certain time and a certain just experience, I guess, because you're watching these films. I don't think you're watching them to really get scared or anything. I think they're just kind of, to Zach's point, like great fodder to have in the background and just to maybe go down like memory lane. So yeah, I think it's hard because I think a lot of times, even with this franchise that we're talking about now, they sort of lose the thread and it just becomes, well, how do we make this more over the top and get butts in seats, right? It doesn't become about the story anymore. So it's unfortunate when that happens in horror, but there's a lot of to your point, a lot of great standalone horror that is sort of the foundation for all these other horror stories that are coming out. I mean, you couldn't have the horror that you see now, whether it's psychological or splatter or whatever, if it wasn't for those storytellers in the past. So we're going to wrap it up. Again, many, many thanks to our buddy Zack for coming out and talking to us about Final Destination franchise 1 through 4. Again, check it out on HBO Max, and we will come back again and wrap up the series with our buddy Zack at some point soon. And that's it and again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And with that, we will bid you all a
good night.
Good night.
Good night.